and hey. Hi. Hello. Welcome back, Alexandrian Codex, Hoi 4. Let's get this year over with. Heirs of Babylon. Heirs of Babylon is a newly released fiction book detailing an alternative universe, in which the Third Reich lost its struggle against the decadent capitalist West and the mongrel states of Russia after our beloved Führer was cut down by a sniper's bullet in 1935. Written by Cornish author Anthony Beaver. Heirs of Babylon details the lives of people living in a divided Britain, Londinium, Alexandria, and Philadelphia, the new capitals of the Americas. Much of the world is divided between the imperial dominion of Britannia, who reclaimed the traditional thrones in Germany and France, the United American Federation, whose border stretches from northern pole to southern pole, and the insidious Pan-Eurasian Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Ferdinand Featherson is an investigator, Britannian detective with a license to kill, and beholden only to her Britannian Majesty. Searching for his wife in Red Europe, he's swept up in a world-shaking plot by Berlin. Chase takes him to America, France, Africa, and finally to Gibraltar, a series of daring escapades with the high-speed gun battles. Crux of the novel's events is the Gibraltar Missile Crisis, tense nuclear standoff between the Dominion and the Pan-Eurasian Union. While the United Federation seeks to undermine both sides and provoke a war for its own purposes. The novel ends in uncertainty, with tanks massing across the Gibraltar border and an American fleet refusing to answer hails circling like vultures. Will Ferdinand use the Dominion's most powerful weapons? Will he rescue the woman he loves? What childish fantasy. Prevention is the best cure. GDP growth will boost. That's nice. We replace threadbare safety net with a better safety net. That's quite nice. Republican wing of the party grows more prominent. Republicans will grow stronger. Oh god, yeah. Truman had the right idea. 2 decades ago, President Truman proposed legislation that would revolutionize the American healthcare system. Seeing the pitiful state of the health industry, he proposed widespread government action to address the growing problem. At the center of his proposal was universal coverage for all, covering all aspects of care. From massive investment to construction of hospitals throughout the country, this kind of action is long overdue. So President Johnson has adopted many of the same policies championed by Truman in his campaign to ensure the nation's health. Emperor Malay becomes a ray of hope. We get a little bit more political power, better recruitable population, better stability, better war support. Huge if true. Big if true. Big if huge. Huge if big. True if big. True if huge. My brain's going. Was any of that funny? Nope, but it was fun to say. That matters quite a bit. It's weird to see the world at peace for such a prolonged period of time. I'm probably jinxing a revolt in the Philippines or something by saying that. Mattei overthrown by Arab administrators. With the chaotic events unfolding in Italy, the Italian government of the Gulf, Enrico Mattei, has had to rely on native Arabian administrators to hold the colony together and avoid chaos which had consumed other nations. It seems, however, his plan of local management ended in the demise as administrators, led by Abdulrahman al-Bakir and his secretive National Union Committee have overthrown him and proclaimed the United Republic of the Arabian Gulf. Being an important colony, most notably for its plentiful oil, this will have a great impact on the already crippled Empire of Italy as it continues to lose its grip over the Middle East. Yeah, no kidding, man. You're not doing so hot, Italy. Basic battleship. Well, I'd like that. I would, but infantry weapons are a higher priority right now. Truman had the right idea. It passed. No one complained. Prevention is the best cure. Get a little better GDP. Pilot programs. Yeah, let's do this. Preparations are now underway for the President Johnson's clash with near endlessly inhibiting forces of poverty. To begin this struggle, we'll pass a series of small-scale assistance programs, while not creating a significant impact themselves, hopefully set the stage for an even greater projects that will follow in the next months. However, for now, we must offer benefits to America's poor in the short term. Alright. It's election season, fighting for you and me. Help elect the MPP. And where Where are we campaigning? Well, Alex, where we always campaign. Holy shit, they're all a toss-up. The NPP has, like, overwhelming support everywhere. You'll love to see it. East Coast is a massive toss-up right now, so you know what? Central East Coast, that's the most important place in the US. We'll focus there. Are we gonna have time for this shit? Like, each of these is a month. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no way he does this in one term. This is a multi-term, dealio here. Well, alright, we'll just, take what we can get. And be selective about this, I guess. Johnson's only getting this done if he gets reelected, and I'm actively pushing for him to not get reelected. Fight me, AI, maybe you'll win, but I highly doubt it. Inside the Third Reich. Sudden release of Albert Speer's controversial new book, Inside the Third Reich, has shocked American audiences struggling to grasp with the cruelty of the German regime. With sales skyrocketing, Speer's first ever time work looks set to reach the top spot on the New York Times bestseller list. Albert Speer, former Reich's Minister for Economics, sought political asylum in the land of the free after his crushing defeat in the German Civil War. Inside the Third Reich details his rise to power in the German Reich, his attempts to reform its evil systems from within, and the barbarity of the most tyrannical politicians. Speer reveals his heartbreak after learning of Heinrich Himmler's mass slaughter of Jews and Slavs in Eastern Europe before Martin Bormann, a sexual predator and thug who manipulated Hitler from the shadow, saved these millions from death, only to place them in the shackles as slaves. Speer has not responded to criticism of his book's legitimacy, and many cast doubt on his professed ignorance regarding genocide and the establishment of slavery. Yeah, we lost before, but the MPP's only been gaining momentum. If we lose, great, I get to finish Johnson's reform. If we win, great, I get to play as a progressive. Demand from the Fuhrer. President Lyndon B. Johnson sat down in a chair in his office. Translator picking up the red phone call about Speer's extradition was beginning. Martin Bormann, Fuhrer of the German Reich, was on the other end. Translator said something German into the phone. Says he wants Speer to return to Germany for publishing the book to stop. Ask him why he wants the book banned, Translator did said. Says it's a bunch of lies. Why does he care if it's all fake? Says it makes them look worse because everyone in America believes it. Why does he care what we think? Says he doesn't answer to that. Oh. Translator paused, listening over the phone, struggled to hold in a laugh. He says to turn over to Speer right now, or we'll face the diplomatic wrath of the Reich. President chuckled. So did the translator. He says, "You think this is funny? I swear, if you don't return Speer and stop the publication of that nonsense, I'll turn the Reich's full power against you. You'll rue the day you decided to..." What is this, a comedy routine? This is going nowhere. Mr. Bormann, we're not giving Speer. Request denied. And Speer's gonna be assassinated. Mysterious disappearance of Albert Speer. World 2000.t. Where is Speer? He dead. Or extradited back to Germany mysteriously. Alright, this would boost Republicans. Prevention is the best cure. This will boost our GDP. In areas where people are deprived of the tools they need to succeed in today's economy, poverty takes root. For that cause, we must nip it in the bud before it can be given the chance to bloom. Through establishment of higher education standards and grants where they're needed most, we can ensure that America's youth are educated enough to take on high-level jobs in an ever-changing economy. Solid MPP campaign. Good job, everyone. Bum, ba-bum, bum, 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 bum. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-bum, bum, 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 bum. All right, so West Coast we're leading. Rockies we're leading. Great Plains, don't fuck with them. Great Lakes are all a toss-up. So, yep, Great Lakes and New England looks like they're going to be our focus point. Surprise, surprise, what else is new? Winning over Black America. Look at how the world around us is changing with President Johnson at the helm. We've been given the incredible voting privilege that's eluded us countless times in the past. Poor blacks in the South are more likely to afford cheap housing thanks to President Johnson's Housing Act. Schools for black children are being given more funds, being recognized for academic achievements. Older blacks are receiving more care they desperately need thanks to the Medicare program. Folks, I see a lot of potential with the Republican Party after looking around at the great society we're living in. We keep voting Republican. Believe all American lives will get better and better. Our campaigning has proven to be very successful at gaining African American vote in the South. More activists we influence, more momentum we gather to topple the traditional parties that have dominated the South for decades. We noted a substantial increase in popularity among blacks in poor regions, which can mean that our great society is working. Our campaign has shown some slight flaws. Hardcore traditional whites have started to denounce our platform, claiming we're ceding too much to the blacks, but this would come naturally with the addition of new party voters. The issue should not gather enough support to put a dent in our party, but it's something to monitor. Nevertheless, every black voter who once faced oppression at the booth now prepares to defend their newly given vote with all that they have. Our reforms are truly reaching out to all Americans. And to think I could have gotten a few more of these focuses done if I hadn't invested more in the Indonesia war. What was I thinking? Ooh. Outdated production. Oh, well. Better do something about that. M16A1. Prevention is the best cure. Delightful. We can create the Office of Economic Opportunity. Yep. President Johnson's campaign to lift America's poor out of their hardship will be a massive undertaking from start to finish. Creation of new bureaucracy and many accompanying programs necessitates coordination on a large scale. The Office of Economic Opportunity, created on the President's orders, will organize all these programs and make sure that every initiative we take runs smoothly. What's this gonna do? Political power gain, and lose stability. Whoops. Well, that's alright. Polls are updated. And we'll see about that when I choose where to campaign next. The death of Antonio de Oliveira Salazar. This morning, Jose Antonio Oliveira Salazar, one of two caudillos of the Iberian Union and leader of Portuguese territories within the country, been pronounced deceased by medical professionals. With his death passes 3 decades of Portuguese history. Reportedly, the caudillo had died due to complications rising from cerebral hemorrhaging, of which he was under surgery to correct. The nation of Portugal is already in mourning for their leader, as is his former colleague Francisco Franco. Till no successors chosen for his position, Franco's sole ruler for the Iberian Union, and experts believe this be a perfect opportunity for Franco to become sole ruler of Iberia, if he desires to do so. I'm sick of this. It was weird. It went like Minnesotan, Southern. I don't know what that voice was. It was kind of rural. Just ambiguously rural. 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 Well, I mean, 68. We got all the 68 text. I guess I can go back to boat text. Boats. Everybody. Alright, upgrade this anti-tank equipment. Oh, hey, that's done. What do I focus on? Variable attack patterns. I suppose decisions are available. So, how are things going in the Great Lakes? It's still a toss-up, so I'm still going to have to pressure that, though I don't think I can right now. How's New England? East Coast, still a toss-up. Central East Coast, gotta get New York, gotta get Pennsylvania, really want Ohio. These three are really important. Illinois would be very important as well. What? I can shore up the OEO. I don't have political power. How can I do this? Oh, God. Look at all of these new options I have that I can't use at all. Let's shore up the OEO. I can't actually do it, but holy shit. Reorganize programs. Yep. Expand Medicare coverage. Would love to. Increase funding. Man, I'd love to. Inspect polling stations. Assess poll. Yep. Love it. Sit down with MLK. Would love to. Yeah, I'd love to do all of these, but, political power? I don't know what that means. Okay, we can take Community Action Initiative. Ugh. Expanded safety nets, boosting production, giving more consumer goods factories, and costing my precious, precious political power. This would give political power, make Republicans stronger. God, okay. How I have May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I really have 8 more of these that I can do. Maybe 9, but let's say 8. So I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, I could consolidate the programs, reducing the cost, giving us a great safety net, improving stability, reducing the number of max factories in a state. Ooh, I hate that. Okay, let's steer away from that then. How about trying to work on this? I would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can get to pressure the states. We can replace it with public health care. That'd be great. I can really do one or the other right now. I can knock through one more thing. Social Security? Yeah, you know what? Let's go for Medicare. Protecting our most vulnerable. Like in so many other economic crises. Imagine having points. Yeah, right? PP would sure be nice. Why no PP? The ones most affected by our defective healthcare system are the nation's poor. Even as the advancement of technology marches forward, they're tragically left behind and swindled out of the care they need. In the first of so many acts to improve the situation, President Johnson has signed an executive order urging legislation through Congress. Preliminary bills, which do little in the long run, aim to protect those who cannot be taken care of themselves due to unchecked distortion of the healthcare industry. I'm gonna focus on healthcare, and if that's all we can get done, you know, we'll feel okay about that, I guess. But honestly, I wouldn't mind Johnson staying in office. I really wouldn't. I'm still gonna push hard for the progressives, because... Come on, you gotta, right? A call from Wallace F. Bennett. Nature of the Republican-Democrat coalition meant that the vice president was often asked to take one for the team. Part of the coalition was upset. Vice President Wilke, Senator Wallace F. Bennett's displeasure registered clearly over the phone. Is the president's Great Society plan simply going to involve throwing people at busy work on the taxpayer dime? Wilke rolled his eyes. Bennett never hidden his sourness over losing the 64 primaries. Senator, the Office of Economic Opportunity is purely intended to complement the private sector and state job-level assistance. Tell me then, Bennett remarked pointedly, how on earth is the federal government supposed to know what jobs need filling in Schofield, Utah? I'm sorry, where? That's the point, Wilkie. The OEO is trying to solve a problem. It's better handled locally, Bennett said emphatically. If the president's going to keep going like this, we're going to find Democratic voters slipping to George Wallace and his states' rights people. Some states can't help everyone, Senator. That's where we come in, Wilkie countered. Just because it's going to be difficult doesn't mean we shouldn't try. We're going to lose some Democrats. Well, that's entirely unsurprising. I'm amazed that there are still Democrats around. Frankly. It's quiet. It's so fucking quiet. Polls have been updated, alright. Protecting your most vulnerables, done. Alright, we're gonna move on to revisiting the WMD bill. 1945, Senators Wagner, Murray, and Dingell proposed a legislation to Congress to reform the nation's healthcare system. The introduced WMD would have instituted a national hospitalization program accessible to all Americans. Fortunately, in the times of strife, radical change was swiftly struck down before it could pass. Now it seems the bill's time has come. Through renewal and revision of the WMD bill, we could implement its most beneficial qualities. The goal will then become the creation of a national system, aided by government directly. Hey, solid campaign, sweet, support weapons are done, delightful. What are we moving on to, boys? We're moving on to same shit we've been moving on to. Alright, air doctrine, hell yeah. Get our heck'em-a-bopters even better. Liberal victory in Canada. Led by Mr. Trudeau, the Canadian Liberal Party has won the federal elections. Despite dangers predicted by many analysts, the party's careful strategy of cooperating with America and defending Canadian interests has earned Canada a good reputation abroad and strong domestic economic progress. Succeeding Pearson as party chief is a journalist from Montreal, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Known as a radical advocate for French-Canadian interests in his youth, Trudeau has, in recent years, refashioned himself into a staunch defender of liberalism and a vision of a bilingual, multicultural Canada. Ignoring those who criticize him and his ideas, the new Prime Minister has ridden a wave of Trudeau-mania into 24 Sussex. What are we short on here? APCs, really? Stop training. You mean to tell me you were short on APCs? Wow, you were really short on APCs. Okay. Cancel that. Did not realize that so many were breaking down. That's crazy. Okay. Well, we'll address that, hopefully. Alright, how are things going in New England? Still a toss-up. Great Lakes, still a toss-up. God damn it, I'm not making any progress. Just keep hammering at it. Snapshots from Stonewall. It's quiet night in Stonewall Inn. Barely anyone notices my scribbling notes in the corner. This corner of America is obscure, but it shares a tendency for aching introspection. Abbreviated loneliness hammered out via cheap glass cups. Beyond the occasional whisper and wordless glances, not much makes out of the haze of anonymity. And long may it remain so. Haze is the only thing that separates this part of town from the moralizing gaze of the rest of America. It's the only thing that keeps it safe. So I'm writing this, a pair of young men, in their 20s perhaps, one Latino, one Caucasian, are swerving to the aching beat of satisfaction. Patterned shoes tap out a rhythm at once familiar and strange. Just irregular enough to inject vitality while keeping pace with the beat. Their bodies trace patterns so bold they'd be scandalous anywhere else, but here, in a trace of lips, hands on waists, it achieves a careworn familiarity, like an elderly seamstress fixing an old cardigan. If this had been a different country, perhaps they would have become dancers. But the lipstick and the gaudy dresses they would wear would kill their careers, and a lot more besides, in this one. America is home to the brave. But this land isn't free. Not for some. Not yet. For now, there's the freedom of the swirl and the curve of dance, a celebration of joy of life in a world with so little else. Another man offers his hand and I rise to dance. In the gentle rhythm and smoky swirls, I sense some vast and gentle ecstasy. With every sway, I come closer to its source. Hey! Well, thanks for dropping in. I know my streaming hours are, like, weird and inconsistent, so good job accomplishing the difficult and, finding me when I'm actually live. Now, none of the series have made it to YouTube, so you're jumping in, kind of blind. This will make its way to YouTube once I'm done with it. That tends to be the way things go, is I run through an entire series on Twitch and then publish it after the fact. What the fuck? Yeah, incentivize insurance companies. We're making great progress in our campaign to institute a national healthcare system. But in order to fully implement such a system, we have to enlist the support of the very insurance companies who've caused the problems that we seek to address. To do this, we'll provide financial incentives to those corporations in the form of subsidies to secure their assistance as we write more legislation. While their practices are unsavory, we'll need their cooperation if we hope to right their wrongs. I would not count on it, Johnson. Yeah, this is a fascinating mod. You know, there's the opportunity for a lot of warfare, but all told, for a Hoi 4 mod, there's a lot of sitting and reading and, like, politicking. I'm pretty okay with it. It's just it's a strange departure. 1986 or 68 national progressive primaries. It's been a long and bruising primary season. From the first votes in New Hampshire right up to the convention and the National Progressive Party held in Miami Beach, Florida. Two frontrunners have emerged, leading the two most important wings of the party. Center, by firebrand Democratic Socialist, writer and fixture of the party, Michael Harrington, and Margaret Chase Smith, senator from Maine, who's now leading the far-right MPP from their segregationist and anti-civil rights history to a broader, more business-friendly position, as well as the first woman to come close to nomination. While there have been other candidates, some having won votes across the country, it's come clear that only Harrington and Smith stand any chance of winning the convention and the nomination. Slogans like "We Like Mike" and "MCS for POTUS," along with chants of "MCS" and "Harrington," have filled rallies and meeting halls across America for months. Campaign buttons, signs, posters, hats, many other soon-to-be collector's items are proudly worn and displayed to show what they think should be leader of the MPP, to finally break Republican-Democrat stranglehold on the White House. Oh, thanks. Well, I'm glad the New Horizons run helps. Yeah, I stream at really random times. Sometimes I started streaming today at like 2 in the morning my time, so like 8 hours ago, on a mod stream, and sometimes it's late at night, or sometimes it's stable, but lately it certainly hasn't been. I miss the tile system from Stellaris too. I definitely do. It all comes down to the final ballot. After a long, grueling debate, because it was a lot like Galactic Civilizations, I think, and I'm really fond of the Galactic Civilization series. Grueling debate on the convention floor and multiple attempts to pick up a candidate, a man has come over the microphone in Miami Beach Convention Center to announce that Harrington. It's Harrington. What, I'm gonna pick a fascist? Come on. This is me. Great conspiracy. Strange rumors have arisen from the depths of Japanese-occupied China. Following the arrest of Nanjing-aligned General Sun Dingying, rumors of a great conspiracy have spread like wildfire. A conspiracy involving long-lost former leader of the Zhongtang, Dai Li. Chinese countryside is gripped with terror, as Dai Li was famously noted for his brutality during the Chiang Kai-shek years. Tokyo, however, has refused to comment or acknowledge Dai Li's situation, calling it an imperialist misdirection of Pan-Asian harmony, or anti-Nippon conspiracy. There are rumors, however, of the conspiracy being linked to the highest echelons of Japanese military intelligence, and only time will reveal whether that is true. I have no respect for sleep schedules, mine or anyone else's. This mod is the New Order. The New Order is an alternate history mod where Germany and Japan won World War II, and I suppose Italy. It starts in 1962, playing out the course of the Cold War, or at least much of it, for this alternate history. It's really interesting. I'm really glad it's not just another Kaiserreich, but it puts itself in the Cold War. Polls are updated. Fantastic. Now, I've only played as the United States. Germany has a focus tree. Italy does. I think China does. No, China doesn't. China does. It's a small focus tree, and they're done with it, but they do have a focus tree. Japan certainly does. Yeah, it's man in a high castle, kind of, but, like, not as extreme. Like, Japan has a couple of ports in the United States, but they haven't occupied half of it. Germany never made it over here. Basically, the United States just gave up on World War II after getting nuked in Pearl Harbor, and that's about it. Alt history itself is a little silly, but whatever. The convention for the Republican Democratic Party has reached its conclusion on live TV, with Lyndon B. Johnson giving a rousing speech to the assembled delegates in Chicago's International Amphitheater, going for party unity, finishing what they've started, and going forth to bring the United States closer than ever to that shining city on the hill that the Founding Fathers claimed America would be. Wasn't exactly cakewalk for Johnson, as they faced a lot of resistance from Senator Barry Goldwater from Arizona, John Glenn, governor of Ohio. Both Goldwater and Glenn sought to replace the current president, either by going to the right and appeal to the Democratic wing of the party, or in the case of Goldwater, further left. Really? Tell me more about Mr. Goldwater. And the Republicans for Glenn. However, neither managed to get many delegates in the first few primaries that were held, and just as soon as they announced their candidacies, they were forgotten and left on the sidelines. Oh, that's a shame. You can become any of these people if you go through the right alt history. You can become John Glenn, president astronaut, and I gotta see what that focus tree is like at some point. Bum 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 ba-dum, bum 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 bum. Now a president can focus on the yeah. AUH2O. I guess that is Goldwater. What? That's one way to put it. Okay. New England, we still got a pressure on. Yep. Central East Coast. Oh shit. I was looking at New England, not the Central East Coast. Well, alright. I'd like to solidify our lead in Pennsylvania and New York, so that's fine. How we doing in the West Coast? We're winning California. Great Lakes, we're winning everything except Michigan. I say we. We are playing as a Republican Democrat. I want the National Progressive Party to win. I'm in the Hilberton Act? Improve healthcare. Poverty rate will decline. This will... Yeah, let's amend the Hilberton Act. The Hilberton was a landmark piece of legislation for healthcare reform in the United States. Passed in 1946, the act gave significant loans to hospitals, who then promised to provide services to customers who cannot afford payment, even with included insurance. The act has been successful in not only caring for those who cannot easily care for themselves, but also improving services that they receive. Now, 2 decades later, we can revisit the bill, through the addition of modifications that will further improve the healthcare situation. We can move one step closer to universal coverage. Oh God. Serbia sides with Italy. The Italians have secured Serbia. By riling up the locals, combined with winning hearts and minds and disenfranchised refugees and Serbian nationalists, the country has managed to push out German occupiers. Deeming the cost simply too high to justify keeping a presence, Germans have decided to withdraw from what they call a worthless cesspool. Cesspool or not, the Italian victory has shaken things up in the Balkans and is a big loss for the Reich. The party is fracturing. Mr. President, I have some good news and I have some bad news. Good news is we push some more of the Great Society through, and the bills are ready for your signature to make them law of the land. This will, of course, be great success for the administration, many Americans that need it the most. Bad news is Republican-Democrat coalition is starting to break. Many of the right-leaning Democrats are openly breaking away, and the party denouncing our efforts is centralizing the government and Bukharianism. As the Congress are crossing the table to the MPP, most of them just didn't like the Great Society in general. Their leaving deals a great blow to your policies seem, on the surface, at least somewhat bipartisan. On top of that, Republicans are starting to warm to the whole Great Society, or starting to push us to go even further, make plans more ambitious. Really starting to sound like Harrington or Robert Kennedy. Hey, don't throw that pen at me. I don't think you like... I know you don't like RFK, but take it up with the Republicans. Telling you just what I've heard. I ain't no Bobby Kennedy! Conservative democracy and social democracy grow. Unfortunately, conservative democracy... Oh, that's Democrats. And, yeah, you know, could be worse. New technology. You know what? This is a little ahead of time. I'll take it. I'll take it. I don't care. How's our production doing? Oh my god, I need so much more APCs. So many more APCs. Well, you asked for it, game. We're gonna start producing APCs. APCs on APCs on APCs on APCs. Don't suppose we've reached the point where I can... Nope, no more special forces. Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated. Horrible news has come out of Memphis, Tennessee, just after 6 in the evening. Civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was shot while talking with colleagues from the balcony of the Lorraine Motel. The bullet, fired from a boarding house across the street, entered through his cheek, smashing his jaw, and penetrated his spinal cord. Dr. King was rushed to St. Joseph's Hospital, where he was pronounced dead just an hour later. In a short address to press at St. Joseph's, Jesse Jackson, well-known organizer and ally of Dr. King, mourned the fallen activist. Claiming Dr. King died in his arms, Jackson stated that this tragedy might not be a mere partisan issue, but one that unites all of us, sons and daughters of God, to a higher calling. Oh boy, stability minus 13 for 30 days. We get the King Riots of 1968. The King Riots were actually the largest and longest lasting riots and protests in American history until the Black Lives Matter protests of 2020. Of this year. The ongoing protests are the largest and longest in American history, both in terms of scale, geographical coverage, and lots of other criteria as well. Unseen since the 60s. Smarter academic base. Time and time again, societies crumble. All will agree it's usually a slow and painful process. However, there are many voices of dissent to the exact cause. One prominent theory is the foundation of any complex society is education. Molding adolescents to fit a role in a society is key to maintaining longevity. When a society experiences conflict, be it economic recession, civil war, civil conflict, money and attention is often driven away from schooling, creating a vicious cycle that slows down technological progress and discovery, killing curiosity. Well, primary schooling has been replaced with secondary schooling, getting better production efficiency, research speed, and factory output. Hell yeah, get those big brains. Images from a funeral. A simple farm wagon, brown, faded green, pulled by a pair of mules through the streets of Atlanta. Dignitaries, celebrities, men and women of all faiths gathered in the church as Ralph Abernathy remarks on one of the darkest hours of mankind. 100,000 people crowding 3.5 miles of roadway, watching the procession go by. Coretta Scott King, Jesse Jackson, Andrew Young, John Lewis, Walter Reuther, Mahalia Jackson singing "Take My Hand, Precious Lord." More tears and grief than any human mind could possibly comprehend. At the end, everyone sings "We Shall Overcome," and everyone prays that they will. Someday. Ugh. I don't think you can avoid King's assassination, unfortunately. I've seen it both times I've played this far. The Iberian Divorce! What? The Iberian Union... Oh, look at that, Portugal! The Iberian Union has reached what seems to have been its fated conclusion. According to insider reports, the government was forced into deadlock following several irreconcilable differences on various issues. Able to veto one another, the Caudillos stopped any practical policy. Reportedly engaged in negotiations to split the Union up, which had come to fruition with the creation of Spain and Portugal. Dubbed the Iberian Divorce by the international community, the former union has been partitioned between the new countries. You're a despot and you're a despot. Well, man, Franco's still alive. That's truly impressive. To a point, I enjoyed CK3. I really don't like the romance decisions. They're like really creepy and manipulative, like they're written by a fucking incel. Like the way that you romance people is by giving them things and manipulating them and saving them from dangerous situations in which in return you are given their love and have sex with them. Like, it's very transactional and like textbook abusive and abuser stuff. I don't like how the lack of depth in culture and religion mechanics. I like that they're modular now. I think there needs to be a lot more depth to the game, and I'm hoping that DLC adds it. As a base, it's good, it's fun, I had a lot of fun, but I think there's a lot of improvement that needs to be made to it. Yeah, I went on a whole ramble about this a while ago, but, you know, it's not necessary to go back over it. It's good. It's fine. I'm looking forward to them improving it. But it exceeded my expectations. Yeah, the lack of depth is seriously noticeable. Seriously noticeable the more you play. How Eurocentric it is, all the events. Even if you have a religion or a culture that doesn't vilify things or doesn't condemn, like, I don't know, adultery, you still get events that are like, this is bad! Even if it doesn't do anything. It feels very like, yeah, like the intention and expectation was that you would play as a continental Catholic. And if that's the expectation, just limit us to that. There's no... The Adamites piss me the fuck off. If you watch through my series on YouTube, they piss me off because you cannot disable nudity. Paradox put in an option to disable nudity, and it doesn't fucking work. Adamites, they're silly and ridiculous, but I was more pissed by the no nudity option not fucking working. Because I'm sure YouTube will eventually scour those videos from my channel, and I will be able to do nothing about it. You can via the save file. Oh, interesting. Well, I wish I knew that workaround earlier, but hey, thank you for sharing. In the future, I'll be able to take advantage of that. Covering millions of citizens is a lofty undertaking that we could never manage on our own. To remedy the situation, must draw the existing insurance market to handle these issues. Blue Cross Blue Shield Association is a fantastic candidate for the implementation of Medicare, Medicaid, and other nationwide insurance programs as proposed by Johnson's Great Society. Existing as an association of various insurance companies across the country, the organization will be vital to our plans going forward. I wonder if your Crusader Zealot husband wants a book about religious prayers. Yeah, it's not just that. Like, I like the whole... Okay, I have to look at this person to see if I'm doing something that they'll like or dislike. Kind of, but in a way, it also feels like you're just putting on whatever mask or facade that you know will present best to that person. I wish that your options were limited by your own character's interests and your own character's desires. Like, you know, most relationships have compromises, but I want me... If I'm an irreligious or a cynical character, I want me saying, hey, let's, you know, study together to give me some stress. I want, you know, a little bit more pushback there. I don't know. I want more depth and nuance, which is always what I want from Paradox titles. And I tend to not get it from the Paradox titles themselves, but from mods. And, you know, I appreciate... There's a lot of fucking work that they put into it. I don't want to sound unappreciative. I don't want to sound like I'm just rallying or hammering on them for no good reason. I really appreciate Paradox and the work that they do. I'm just a critic by nature, and God knows nothing's gonna change that. Right, we are moving on to the 6s. And I do mean it from a good place. I really do mean it from a good, constructive background. The critique, like... I'm not complaining for the sake of complaining. I'm complaining because I care, and I know it can be better. Oh, Jesus. 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, that's a little under half. That'll do. What do we got here? 13! Okay, Ohio, you can just have some military factories. You do not need to improve. All right, Louisiana, Georgia. Louisiana, you have 1, 2, 3 more civilian factories I need out of you. Georgia. Only need 1 out of the great state of Georgia. Maryland. No, you're good. All right, military factories in Maryland. Vermont, New Hampshire, and then we're done. Bum, bum. 1, 2, 3. And then I guess a military factory there. Whoop-de-doo. And 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then some military factories. Yeah, they need critique sometimes. They absolutely do. But I haven't uploaded the video with the romance rant. I started to, but then my internet went down yesterday. It was while I was streaming, and I haven't bothered re-uploading it. I'll probably do it today once I'm done streaming. Hopefully Comcast is done, in big air quotes, upgrading my network. I like Paradox. I like them as a company. I really do. I want to work for them. I want to work for them so I can put these critiques in the ears of people who will listen, or be in a position where I can work on the problems myself. Specifically the last one. I want to be able to work on these issues outside of just modding them after the fact, because, yeah, I want to work as a fucking game design there. I really do. It's a great company, and I love their products. I want so bad. I've applied, but they're off in Sweden, and I normally apply for QA, because QA is really all I'm qualified for. I don't have enough experience under my belt working on big projects to do programmer positions. I mean, I can. They're very qualified people. I've applied, but there are a lot of very good people, very excited people, fans of Paradox, who want the positions too. And if they get more qualified people than me to fill those positions, well, good for them. Just Paradox, hire me. Please, ship me off to Sweden, get me out of America. After years of development, the celebrated director Stanley Kubrick has come out with his latest epic feature, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Set in the next millennium, 2001 centers around a German spaceship, Unterdrückung 1, on a long journey to Jupiter. Its crew, Andreas Bogenmann and Franz Teich, are helped on their day-to-day activities by a powerful artificial intelligence EPAC. However, as the film goes on, it becomes clear that EPAC has decided to kill the crew. In a tense struggle, made all the more nerve-wracking by Kubrick's long takes and understated sound design, Bogenmann is able to deactivate EPAC, who mournfully sings Stille Nacht, Silent Night, as his circuits are disconnected. Bogenmann then realizes the mission of Unterdrückung 1 is to investigate an alien monolith orbiting Jupiter. The monolith transports Bogenmann across space and time, transforming him into a bizarre space fetus floating beside Earth. Audiences have been divided over the film. Some call it meaningless drivel, while others found it to be most enjoyable, especially when paired with certain substances. Whatever the reaction, Kubrick has certainly created a memorable feature film. My God, it's full of stars. Let's see. West Coast or Great Lakes? How are we doing in the Great Lakes? Great Lakes, Michigan is a toss-up. Nope, gotta lock that down. Michigan has 20-something votes. They hold their cons in Germany, sometimes just because Bear Convention Center is down there. They have studios in Sweden, they have studios in Spain, they have studios in Poland. They have studios all over the place. They're actually Paradox development studios. or no, publishing studio stuff over here where I live. They're Harebrained Schemes, for example, who made the MechWarrior games. They're in Seattle, and yes, I've applied there too, somewhat recently, in fact. Being like, hey, Harebrained, you need a QA? Let me work there. Polls are updated. Yeah. We'll check on that later. Yeah, culture and work environment, they're more American than Google. They are very American, yeah. Which is weird. Maybe we shouldn't be using American at this point that it's become kind of ubiquitous across the globe. Maybe it started here, but this kind of 21st century capitalist company culture is it's not a purely American phenomena anymore. Though I guess initially it was, so calling it American is still accurate. We're gonna rein in the AMA. The American Medical Association is the largest association of physicists. No, Alex, physicians in the United States, including tens of thousands of doctors from across the country. Its stated goal is the betterment of public health, and it plays a critical role in the physician's specialization and medical system. Organization also holds significant political clout, often participating in copious lobbying for interests that are often against our stated goals. With this in mind, we must recognize the importance of gaining their support before we pass any more legislation. Whether through grants, favors, or possibly threats, we'll bring the AMA into the fold. Wow, we're almost done with another year. And this has only been about an hour. My throat is starting to get a little sore, so this is the last hour. Oh, rip Scotland. Surprising no one, England is continuing to reclaim the old United Kingdom. England and Scotland at war. What was regarded as one of the biggest flashpoints in Europe today exploded with shelling and machine gun fire as negotiations between England and Scotland collapsed. England's demands that Scotland enter into a union with them fell through, now has been forced to take Scotland by military means. Already, English jets have been spotted over Edinburgh, my god, and governments everywhere warning their ships and aircraft to stay clear of the North Sea. Many in England expect a victory over Scottish defenders, however experts caution that years of preparation by Scotland makes their positions hard to crack. One must never doubt the strength and tenacity of a Scottish soldier. Can't send you volunteers. Man, libertarian socialism. Fuck, dude. That's some rad shit. I ain't mad about this at all. I ain't mad about this. This is cool as shit. Hell yeah. Get some Union of Britain shit going on over here. I'd send them aid. Oh. They left the fucking faction. Yeah, they did. When they transitioned to a socialist government, they left my faction. Well, no wonder I haven't been... Edinburgh? Yeah, Edinburgh. Debate with Michael Harrington. President Lyndon B. Johnson and Michael Harrington, who otherwise share so much in common in their prescription for the ills of American society, got a sharp contrast from the moment they stepped on stage. Smiling Johnson towered over Michael Harrington as he vigorously manhandled Harrington's arm before the cameras. Harrington, to his credit, refused to budge or flinch, quiet force radiating against Johnson's energetic presence. Their roles reversed as the debate kicked off, Harrington launching into a surprise criticism of Johnson's administration. President Johnson, the Great Society suffers from a lack of ambition. Root causes of grinding poverty, unemployment, debasement of human dignity remain unaddressed. Both agree the role of government in fundamentally bettering American lives. You hope on treating symptoms while ignoring the cure that millions hope to receive. Oh, Mr. Harrington, certainly don't lack for convictions, President Johnson replied. When you speak of dreams, I deliver results. Ask any American on the street. Are they safer, healthier, more satisfied with their lives? We both agree that politics is about people. But results matter just as much, if not more, than ideas in politics. I can promise you, if you believe the Great Society isn't ambitious enough, you ain't seen nothing yet. Sorry, Johnson, but the voters side with Harrington. Socialist Highlander republics. Once had a drink with a Scot named Boris and a Russian named Angus. What the fuck? What a beautiful world we live in. You gotta love it. Okay, we're researching this. Yeah, let's get ammunition storage so my APCs are all the better. Still catching up on production of them, though. Solid MPP campaign. Alright. Not bad. This is so quiet. I've gotten so used to just being spammed with events that all this stillness is like freaking me the fuck out. Okay, what do we see? What do we see? West Coast, NPP. Rockies, NPP. Great Lakes, still a couple of toss-ups. Illinois, Michigan. East Coast, Jersey, and Delaware are toss-up. I really want to secure that lead in New York, but on the other hand, I could campaign in New England. New England is just full of toss-ups. Yep, you know what? Let's lock down New England. The mod UI, I like a lot of it. I don't like the symbols and the kind of pixelated look that they're going for. For me, the high contrast between cyan and blue actually hurts to look at and gives me migraines. I low-key get headaches playing this mod, but beyond that, I think they're doing some good work with the UI. It's a little crowded sometimes, but again, it's really impressive what they've accomplished here. The formation of the Soc Intern. Today, in a joint statement between several socialist nations, formation of a new Socialist International, or Soc Intern, was announced. According to these statements, the Soc Intern is a body comprised of socialist parties from the world over, representing a diversity of strains of left-wing thought, Russian-style Marxist-Leninism to Marxist social democracy. The organization, headquartered in Far Eastern Soviet Socialist Republic, claims to have the objective of facilitating cooperation between socialist parties, ensuring global support of left-wing movements, providing cooperative defense for socialist nations across the world. Despite these bold claims, it appears unseen what the actual material achievements of the Soc Intern may be. Does it exist? Because it doesn't look like it's a pact. That's unfortunate. Return of the Reds. What happened to Russia? It's unclear. They lost the Second World War. It looks like Stalin never came into office, that it was Bukharin, and Bukharin's leadership failed to hold them together, and the Americans pulling out just led to the Soviets just utterly collapsing, though it's quite unclear as to how exactly. So they start out the game as a bunch of shattered warlord states that slowly reunify, and now we see them as, you know, a handful of states. Workplace Healthcare Act. The Workplace Healthcare Act is the next step to a gradual march towards a robust and federally supported insurance system. Serving as a check on the often harmful abusive policies of insurance companies, this act proposes a number of protections for a nation's consumers. These include obligation for price transparency and a visibility to prevent exploitation and requirement that all companies provide insurance regardless of pre-existing conditions, sex, or other conceivable factors. For years, corporations tasked with providing insurance have used their privileged positions to profit off of the struggles of unwitting customers. This new proposed act will prevent such practices. Look at this. Yeah, it costs GDP, but fuck it, deficit spending is more American than anything. We're just not deficit spending on the military right now. Wait, do I even have a deficit? How we doing? Debt, GDP is 5.3. Expenditure, dude, our expenditure's tiny. Year over year, we should be making 430 billion. Oh, sorry, income is, yeah, all right, so we're running a slight deficit. I gotta boost the GDP here, but we got a deficit of 10 billion, whatever. I'll cut the military spending, how about that? Tell you what, I mean that seriously. We're pretty much at capacity for what I want to accomplish as far as military capacity right now, so 1, 2, 3. I have 3 civilian factories here. I want 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. What do we got here? 1, 1, 2, 3. What do I got here? 1, 1, 2. I think civilian factories boost your GDP. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know how GDP is calculated. This is not a clear system. But I'm assuming having more civilian factories will boost our GDP, so I'm gonna lean in with that. If it doesn't, if it just boosts expenditure, well, I tried. 6 here, 3, 4, 5. 6 here, 7, 8. 2 here. 1 here. 1, 2, 3 more. 1 here, 1, 2, 3 more. 1 here, 1, 2 more. 1 here, 1, 2 more. Missouri, 1 more. Arkansas, 1 more. I know it's Arkansas, but come on, it's Arkansas. Tennessee, 1 more. Mississippi, you're good. Alabama, you need 2 more. Florida, use 1 more. Puerto Rico, it's good. Alaska could use any. Holy shit. I can build 1 in Bermuda? Hell yeah. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, need 3 more. 1 more North Carolina, South Carolina 1 more. Do I have the ability to put any more of these anywhere else? I have a factory in the Falklands? Cut the military spending? Is that a thing? Not in America, it isn't. That budget goes up year over year. Unfortunately. It is robbing our country of the ability to spend on things that would save human lives. Okie dokie. Well, guess, how am I doing on boat studies? Yeah, I want nuclear battleship reactor, and after that, we'll probably be about maxed out on naval experience. To that effect, hey, other navies, can I get you to train? Yeah, okay, we're not losing fuel. Train, I mean, I built so many fucking refineries. I should be able to have all of you exercise and not losing fuel. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Alright, sweet. I'm trying to boost up Navy XP so I can make some top-of-the-line battleships. At Folsom Prison. Airwaves were filled with cheers and applause from the inmates of Folsom Prison today as Johnny Cash's new live album, At Folsom Prison, hit the shelves. The album was recorded live at a concert Cash performed at Folsom State Prison in California. Runaway success, the album has sold out record stores across the nation, and Folsom Prison Blues has shot up to #1 on Billboard's Top 40. Johnny Cash shed much of his former outlaw image after getting help from his amphetamine addiction in 1967, but he's not given up his compassion for incarcerated Americans and his advocacy for their rights. Cash had several meetings with former President Nixon in the early 60s about prison reform, and has expressed interest with meeting with President Johnson as well. The album's lyrics reflect the harsh and alienated conditions of prison life, the yearning for prisoners to break free, return to their loved ones. This album may be reinvigorated Cash's previously ailing career. Columbia Records suggested that a future live album might be recorded at San Quentin State Prison. Whatever the future may hold for the Man in Black, this album has clearly captivated the hearts and minds of the nation for years to come. Dude, I love Johnny Cash. How's a man go to prison in California for murder in Nevada anyway? Yeah, he's in Folsom, which is in California, but he shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Something doesn't add up here. Oh yeah, CK3 is way easier to learn than CK2, I think. There's a lot of added mechanics, but at least there's a tutorial this time. They've tried harder to make it easier to understand. I had a friend, their first Crusader Kings game was CK3, and they seem to have a pretty good grasp on it, so... yeah, it seems okay. Yeah, CK2 is hard, man. I mean, as a series, they're hard to get in on. Paradox games, you really have to bash your head against the wall and watch streamers or YouTubers and just read the wiki, and you really got to put in some dedication for the games to take, honestly. Stonewall Inn is a spot of light and loud laughter in a world slipping into autumn. Sounds of occasional retching aside, the inn is a good place. The crowds know it to be far more than just a building. For many, its patrons, it's the only place they can truly be themselves. But autumn is sweeping in, one chilly breeze at a time. Signs have been there for a while. Mayor riding the coattails of the moral cleanup movement sweeping the country. The officers sent to do collection duties. One's calling it with an offering bag, only with a hint of irony. From the inn, tell the bartenders of the anti-mafia team they're forming in the back of the Metropolitan Department. It's not like the community they formed here hasn't known the wrath of the cops. But this time, it'll be different. Change is coming to America, as the president says over the airwaves. Some changes are less welcome than others. The bartender methodically cleans his cups for half an hour before closing time. We'll take care of the mess in the toilet afterwards. And there's always a mess in the toilets. He got hired by the Don, same as all the staff, but he's come to love the place. Patrons are gaudy, have a glint in their eye. It's a real life they're living here in the damp spaces. He looks at the sweeping customer hunched over his cups and smiles wanly. Whatever happens next, he'll stay with the ship. Even if the hull's leaking, his passengers deserve nothing less. Yeah, I'm glad I could help. I do go through pretty quickly when I'm streaming and recording. My friends of mine have been like, man, Alex, it's so hard to follow if you don't know how the game goes. I'm like, I know, dude, there's a lot of moving parts, but I've played so many hours of these games at this point that sometimes it's just like second nature to me. And it can be difficult to slow down and explain the logic of why I'm doing things when I'm doing things. Victoria 2, I'm really enjoying having the opportunity to do that. All right, so it's November. We have November and December, and then we're out of office probably. So I only have like 2 of these that I can get through. We can assess current programs, making the Republicans more prominent. That's worthless. Stopgap measures. Improves the social safety network in the country. Or we could get a couple of these. Tell you what, let's get community action initiative. Talk on the national and federal levels about fully addressing poverty is nice, but only through mobilization of communities throughout the nation can we have the manpower needed to confront economic objection. In new outreach programs that would encourage participation on both the local and societal level, we can grant new opportunities to the poor to ensure that no one struggles to get by. Federal government will serve as a guiding hand, leading impoverished communities, wherever they're found, to prosperity. Will I ever do another one of Stellaris? Yeah, you know, I've been thinking about it. I've been keeping an eye on some of the mods, some of the DLC. They haven't come out with anything too game-changey, but it's been long enough that I'm not that bitter. Right? So I might hop back into it. New Horizons, I know, has made some progress, and I'm curious in checking out some other mods. I promised to return to Hearts of Iron 4 and EU4 Map Waifu. I haven't forgotten that I promised to go after EU4, but God help me. I'm not there yet. So Hoi 4 for now. I'll get sick of this before too long, don't worry. And then we'll pivot and pivot and pivot and pivot. The new Baldur's Gate comes out in a few weeks, so there's a good chance I'll be playing that for a while. Or maybe I'll hate it. Who knows? The election results are in. Let's check out what happened. The Republican Party won 6 votes. Holy shit, won 6 seats. The Democrats lost 12. The center lost 8. And the far right gained 14. Oh man, the far right is booming. That's actually very concerning. That's very concerning. Yeah, because I wasn't campaigning for those seats. I was campaigning for the presidency. Oh my God, we destroyed them. Oh man, poor Johnson. 466 votes for the Progressive Party. Holy shit. Yeah, damn. I'm not reading that. That's generic text we've seen a couple of times. What am I working on? These are gonna be done. That's still a year ahead of time. Boat stuff? Still ahead of time, right? Yeah, it sure is. Engineering? Still ahead of time. Industry? Still ahead of time. Support? Still ahead of time. Infantry? Ahead of time. Artillery? Ahead of time. Okay, I think everything's ahead of time, so I should focus on doctrines. Air doctrines, I am happy to do. American politics make very little sense. Yeah, this mod does a pretty good job of showing just how chaotic they are. Oh my god. Purple means it's mixed. Blue means it's Republican Democrat. NPP is orange. What have I done? So the center still have more votes than the far right, but the far right have almost as many votes as the Republicans or the Democrats. Because we've basically just pushed a lot of Democrat supporters to the right. Because the Democrats at this time were overwhelmingly conservative. Particularly the Southern Democrats. And I have not been helping that situation at all. At all. Okay, we're full up on you. So we can finally start training again. I think we should be able to keep up. Keep an eye on this. But I think we should be able to keep up. Make better planes. Well, not better planes, improve our plane doctrine. Oh my god, we're losing fuel. Because these require fuel now. Alright, well, Sixth Fleet. You are done with naval exercises. Go home. There we go. That's increasing. I did click the go home button, right? Yeah, alright, not enough. Fourth Fleet. You're done. Go home. National focus. A vista of the future will improve our poverty rate and academic base. Yeah, let's do that. Volunteers in Service to America, or VISTA, program is the next proposed organization under the OEO umbrella, aiming to provide lower-income families with new opportunities while also serving the rest of the nation. Similar to the Peace Corps, VISTA provides members with steady income, health coverage, and a myriad of other benefits in exchange for volunteer service. Recipients will not only see other areas outside their communities, but will gain skills needed for many roles mandated by today's industrial economy. Let's get to work. Do they sing row, 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 boat if you've run out of fuel? Well, that'd be charming. Is this actually going down? The current fuel consumption rate will be out of fuel in 1.1 years. Oh shit, I shouldn't have clicked through that. We already know who won. Alright, wow, I gotta cancel another one. Third Fleet! Go home. Presidential season is over. Oh, these are just more generic events. Yeah, I know what happened. I checked. I done spoiled it for myself. Let's get to the end of the year and get ready to start tomorrow in the year of our Lord, 1969. Obligatory nice. How are we doing on production here? 259, 232. Nope, I'm still not producing enough to do this consistently. The APCs break down too fast. Alright. I have to keep 2 full lines of NPCs going to, APCs, not NPCs. I'm like, that doesn't sound right, Alex. Yeah, because you're saying the wrong thing. APCs are breaking down too quickly. Well, good problem to discover before it becomes an issue in a war. Alright, one last day. And bam, boom. We've done it! We've done it! I've gone from 1964 to 1969 today. All told, the game gets a lot less spammy the further you go, to its credit. But I'm relieved to have this done with. My voice is gonna thank me for not talking. How unbearable do you think the year 6969 will be? Do you even... I think at that point, the 69 is a sex number thing. Won't be remembered. What Arabic numerals are, yeah, Arabic numerals we've only been using for how long, right? History. Been using those for about 1,400, 1,500 years, give or take. So 4,700 years from now, I don't know. They probably take it away. But hey, I like the jokes. I mean, remember in the past when we talked about this kind of stuff, smoker culture in the United States, we're like, dude, imagine April in 2020, it's just gonna be 420 all month, bruh. And then April 2020 hit, and it was not 420 all month. It was a pandemic nightmare that is never ended. So if that precedent holds, God help the year 6969. Okay, I'm gonna put in a cut here. If you are watching on YouTube, this is it for today. More will be up tomorrow. Until then, toodaloo, take care. I will see you then. Bye-bye.